I'm not brushing my teeth. I was just having a beer. Welcome. Maybe that was someone or something higher up stopping the stream. Good evening. Just check you can hear me. Now I'm checking my teeth. You know, I once did a video only a few weeks ago, and as I was editing it after, I saw that I had something in my teeth. So I thought, oh, there's nothing I can do about that. So I just have to hope people don't look. They look at my eyes, not my mouth. But you always look at people's mouth, don't you? So I assume you can hear. Welcome to the live stream. There we go. How are you all? It's been a month. We are now in November. I don't have to pull up the blinds. It's so dark. It's the nights have come in. Everything's going, isn't it? Welcome you all. I hope you've had a good month. I just had a week off church because of half term and trying to use up my holiday. So yeah, that was good. It was half term, so spent that time a bit with the kids and doing some other things. Yeah, happy All Saints, All Souls weekend. That's what we did this morning. Did All Saints this morning, and then at 5, usually you have a service at 6, but we had a All Souls service at 5. And what we do here is invite those who are bereaved. All the funerals that we've done for the last 3 years, we invite those to church and any other people to come. And it is a lovely service. And it's great to have conversations with people. Because, you know, there's one thing with death. It takes a long time for some people to recover. And some people, they never can recover. So my mum was one of those. I don't think she ever got over the death of my dad at all. So, yeah. All Souls is a special time. So I got an interesting proposition I'm going to write down for later. If I remember. If I don't, tell me. So I put on let's talk about Justin Welby, because wow, isn't that a big thing that's been happening? It's absolutely huge. Been trying to figure this out as a comparison for some people who aren't in the church. You know, it's like I didn't quite get round to it in my head, like the CEO of Lego just not believing Lego clicks together or something like that. You know, it's I don't know, I have to think of a good one, but yeah, it's quite crazy, that podcast all about politics and all that's come out after. I don't know what, I know you're not all Church of England, but from your side, from your denomination, what do you think about that? Can you have a leader? Well, say that. You all happy with Pope Francis, the Catholics? He's quite liberal on a lot of things. Can you have a leader who doesn't believe in the big doctrines of the church like that? Anyway, we'll chat through that. As always, while I'm still in the Church of England, I have to be careful. So, did I tell you that? What's my son? He went to in August. He went to something called Satellites, and the Archbishop was there, and he said, "Oh, the Archbishop's here. Does he know you?" I was like, "No, he doesn't." "Now, do you know him? I said, "No, I don't know him, but he probably knows me." So, or maybe that's a bit presumptuous of me. But anyway, the Church of England probably do so. Yeah. So let's chat about Justin Welby and his comments if you want to. What's been happening? What's going to happen? Now we're in this magical time of All Saints, All Souls. Then next Sunday we got Remembrance. It was a special time. Then we go into Christ is King and Advent and Christmas. And then a new year, another year. Now, in January, it marks 3 years since I started here in this parish. So that's a nice thing. So what's on your mind? We'll go through the chat as always. I always start off, let's talk about Justin Welby, and then we'll go off on other things. Tonight I'm drinking Peroni, which we got from Costco. Costco, my wife got it, but I told her not to get any more beer because it piles on the calories. So what are my thoughts on Justin Welby and the comments that he made? Well, I think if you're leading the Church of England, there's one part that you say, well, you have to have integrity, and he said what he believes. So, in one way, you've got to respect him for standing by what he believes. But if you got that and you believe something that is contrary to the doctrine of the church that you are leading, and not just the church, the Anglican Communion, then how can you stay there? We all know that he's retiring January 2026. And so, his next year would be that kind of, when you're handing your notice and you've got 3 months left, that we expect next year at some point he'll announce where he's going to leave. But a lot of people are saying out there that he's staying to get this LLF, the Living and Loving Faith, through. But where does that leave us as the Church of England? Divided, I think, and I think more than ever now. If you haven't heard of the Alliance, the work of the Alliance, there's a group of Orthodox evangelicals and Anglo-Catholics that are coming together and saying we need structural provision. We need what they call a de facto province, if you're not going to give that to us. And we need our own ordination streams. We need to make sure that the money that's given to the church is going to Orthodox parishes. We can't be seen as one church with two doctrines, and you just can't do that. We need to separate ourselves. So, but the thing is, Justin Welby is leaving or retiring. But if you look at the current House of Bishops and who could take over, and we have no idea who could take over, the majority of the House of Bishops, and we know this by the voting in the General Synod, is liberal. So what is only going to be replaced, the person replacing is more than likely going to be quite a liberal archbishop on this. And so with the church so split as it is currently, even a person I believe that they would try to find who's quite moderate and would try to stagger both sides of the church would not be able to, because the gap is now too wide, massively wide. And I think that for many people now it will be untenable for them to stay. And a lot of people, it takes a long time for people to leave. We do trust in God to provide, but there is, as I spoke about before, there's a calling to a certain place, and there's family, and there's costs, and it isn't easy to leave. There needs planning and discernment, and where do you go if you're called to a certain place, and then this all happens, which isn't part of your calling. How do we ask God to place us in a different place when we feel called to a particular place? It is really, really complicated in that sense. So we'll get into that. That's a first few thoughts. We'll have a look at the chat before it gets too long. Got my screen in front of me with a little chat on the side, but when it gets too long I have to go to the screen over here. So Francis blows hot and cold, but usually pulls back from heresy, sort of. Yeah, I feel sometimes it's difficult with Pope Francis because he had that thing, was it about a month ago, with he was he in the Far East, Indonesia or something, and he was speaking, and sometimes you wonder whether things get lost in translation. I know that, I might be a bit more gracious on this because my wife is from Colombia, and when we speak, sometimes there's stuff that's just lost in translation. What she says to me in English, but from a Colombian point of view, it sounds completely wrong. But when she explains it, I get where she's coming from. So sometimes, we've got to take that into account rather than jumping on every word. But sometimes you've got to also question what he's doing. Any of you Guys, got loads of flies. We've got loads of little flies going around our house. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Mr. B. Welby panders to the secular world too much. He should stand for doctrine and risk his position. If you're heading up a church that believes that Jesus Christ is our resurrected Lord, that he died on the cross for us, and we live in this world but not of this world, so we look on this world from a different perspective, then we should speak from the kingdom of God into that, and with such a voice and position. But they don't do that, and I think we're seeing that as a church. I'm seeing that there's so many things that we don't speak about and speak into, which I believe that we should now, and be disliked for it, because how are things going to be changed or be heard? I did my daily devotional earlier, my Fulfilling Life daily devotional for tomorrow. What is it? Hebrews 12:7, about God disciplining his children who he loves. And I thought, as I was saying it, we don't hear this side of God from the church. We don't hear that God will discipline his children. It will be rough, but he does it because he loves us, and he wants us to stop doing stuff, and he wants us to become the people that he knows that we could ultimately be, without the sin in our lives that we keep doing, that keeps blocking us. And there's a nice way to do it, because it says in Hebrews, as our fathers on earth do. And then I was like, yeah, that's right. There's a nice way to do it. I do it with my kids. Lovely. But sometimes it escalates, doesn't it, to a bit more forceful discipline. But there's some things that are just so bad that they go straight for that discipline. And I think, the church needs to stand up now. But also, if you've been on this my channel and live streams, that I do speak about this, that the church needs to find that space which it has lost. Find that voice that we're speaking to. You see that with the assisted dying bill, should I say, the assisted suicide bill that's going to go through the Houses of Parliament at the end of November and probably be voted on before Christmas. That we need to bring in not just no, this is wrong, but why it's wrong, and the hope of God in that, and why the body is sacred and life is sacred, because there is a God there. I was just speaking to someone after the All Souls service, and we were speaking about death, and this lady was telling me, I'm so glad that I got my faith, and I don't know how people who don't have faith can cope, because I got hope. Even though she's lost her husband, she has hope. And we don't speak about the hope of Jesus Christ. Sometimes we have to speak into difficult situations and in difficult ways for people to come and understand. So we don't know. So already I'm moving on to this screen. So I got to go down this list. Where's the camera? I've got to go down into this slide here. Mr. B, I've had 2 glasses of wine tonight. God forgive me. Peroni Italian beer. Rev Dan, swimming the Tiber. He'll be blocking in Latin next. No, it's just cheap. That's why. Michael John, Welby is Sleeping Wolf closing. I hear that a lot. Mr. B, living in lust and fornication, as the Aussie fella says. Yeah. A lot of people say that around. I have to be careful what I say, which is sad, isn't it, that you have to be careful what you can't say certain things because it's recorded online. It's called what we call evidence. Rob Mumford, it's hard to see denominations that aren't going this way. Even the churches that are theoretically orthodox on this issue tend to not actually teach on it, so end up with lots of affirming members. I'll stop on that one. Yes. Yeah. And it's interesting. I've had some people write to me and say, look, I have got an Orthodox vicar, but they're not speaking out on this. And actually, how can I stay in this church because they should be speaking out into the public square. The church family will know, but they're not speaking out. As I said, that this will always come back. My worry is to bite them, and it's probably to take control of the situation and say, look, this is where we stand and this is why. And there is good news in this, rather than getting an email from, and people do this, to email just to see where the vicar's at and to get it out into the public forum, and then they have to then react to that. And the way that you write or the way you respond can be it's really hard to write something, isn't it? And it not to be read the wrong way. And I think it's far better, and it's very difficult in some circumstances to say this is where we are. But that's the gospel, isn't it? Like I said, Jesus said, you will not be liked because of what I'm saying. Because we're standing, they hated him first, so they will hate us. Carl St. John, Rev Dan, are you staying in the Church of England? That's a big question. I am for the moment. Yeah. This is always a difficult question. I'm called to this place, and I'm in the Church of England, and I came into the Church of England. Is there hope for the Church of England? There might just be. You still wait for you got to wait for my personal, because I've got friends who have left the church, and I fully support that. But I want to see what God's doing. I want to still minister in this place. Like I said, I've only been here less than 3 years. The church's doctrine, the Church of England, you take out all the people, you take the doctrine of the Church of England, and it's still Orthodox doctrine. People might have different views, people might be doing different things, but the doctrine of the Church of England. So in a sense, there's still hope. I wait to see what the Alliance is doing and what they can set up. But if a red line is crossed, and I spoke to a lot of people about this, then they will have to look, because once the ministry is made harder, or it causing people to stumble because of that, because people don't see the difference, or it becomes, then I think you have to separate in that way, and that's difficult, because like I said, you're also leaving your calling. So I think there's still hope for the Church of England, that God might be changing things, and we just have to see that play out. I might be wrong, and I don't want to get big-headed or anything about this in any way. But when Brett left the Free Church of England and people followed him, I do understand, and I have spoken to people, that potentially that if I left, it could influence other people in one way or another. And that's not me being big-headed, it's just because I know that people have written to me, and the hope of me staying in and speaking out from within, then that gives them hope, if you see what I mean. And there are a few of us still in the Church of England that are doing that, and it's a platform. What does my platform look like if I wasn't in the Church of England trying to speak about these things? It could look like I'm just I've left, and I'm speaking about the Church of England rather than speaking within from the Church of England, if you see what I mean. It's perhaps a good position to have. It's a difficult one, Carl. It is a difficult one, and it's not just clergy, but it's laity that are feeling this as well. Glennis, he can't leave too soon enough, as he's been so destructive to the church. I hope that. I hope you're talking about Justin Welby here. So I was looking at one camera. I hope you're not talking about me, Glennis. Coffee break theology. I'm guessing Bishop Martin Snow who is already in the House of Lords. Yeah, he could be in. I mean, but Martin Snow is young-ish, 40s, 50s, maybe. Could be there for a long time. Maybe he's too young, but would he be respected? It's difficult, because he says evangelical, but he's leading on the LLF. It's not an easy job for him, for sure, but we would want to know where he truly stands on this. So I don't know whether to go through some of those. I attended a capo reflection for All Souls in a local Anglican church last night after Mass at my Catholic church. Mr. B, was that good? Do you check? Here's a question as I come back. I'll flip between the if you go to an Anglican church, how do you check? Because people have written to me, how do I know if that church is Orthodox? We all know if they got a pride flag outside, yeah, that's a red flag. You just don't get there. But there are churches that you just don't know. How do you guys know of if you went to an Anglican church where it stood? How do you find out that information? Because like I said before, you've got Orthodox churches who aren't nailing as what's his name, Martin Luther did the thesis to the door. They're not saying this is where we stand. You go on their website and there isn't like a statement of faith, or you have no idea, and that happens with the liberals as well. So how do you know? How do you know? Is it outside of my church? We all at the moment talk about like a statement of faith, but if you came to my church, unless you didn't know me, would you know? So how do you know? I'll catch up to that if you get onto that. TP, I had chickens and dumplings tonight. I didn't have any dinner tonight. I had a roast this afternoon about 2 p.m. and then because we had All Souls, I had two or three pieces of cake. Once on the lips, forever on the hips, as they say. Brenda Love, I read about Welby, so sad to hear it. Yeah. Mr. B, very beautiful. What a pity that the Syria leadership is so compromised. Yeah, we don't know where we're going. Coffee. Lavender and basil are good to deter little flies. I was wanting to get loads of Raid and just spray it all around the house when nobody was here. I mean, loads. Should be cold. Our house is freezing. It should be cold enough to get rid of them. Fly Fox Pro. I remember Rowan Williams being critical of the Episcopal Church in America for its liberalism, and now Welby has led the Anglican Church to being as liberal. Yeah, and the funny thing is that we all knew Rowan Williams was liberal on this, and he was, really clear on that. But actually, I think he held a better line with both sides. But now the church is just so split, and the Anglican Communion. I don't know if you saw my video. Yes, Friday, their statement was scathing. I mean, they really did not hold back. It's like there's no hold bars now. They have no respect in that. They've lost. They've lost all their respect. Hurricane Party. Welby should resign and vacate and bow his head in shame and disappear to live in life of relative obscurity. The thing is that when Justin Welby does go, it will be a case of, like I said before, who's next? Michael John, like traditional values, like parents, and using corporate punishment or misbehaving children right from the start is to show zero tolerance for bad behaviour. Yeah, so that goes back when I was talking about discipline and how the church should speak. Oh, Welby has led. Yeah, okay. Michael John, there is a cost to speaking out. Yep. Richard Linley. Glenn Scrivener on his Speak Life channel has done a video showing that Welby has held this view since at least 2017 when he did another interview with Glenn Campbell. Because he didn't say. He said he hasn't got an answer. I have to watch that. I met Glenn. Let's go back to this camera. I met Glenn last year at the ARC conference. First time I met him. I got so much respect for that guy. He's you can just tell he's a brain. He's so a lot of intelligence and not a lot of knowledge. I would have a lot of time for that guy. Mr. B, I'm going to continue listening while practicing a Mozart piece on my piano. Wow. I don't think they would compare, Mr. B. I don't think me and Mozart would compare. Let's see if I can go back onto this. Yeah, I caught up now, so I can look straight ahead. Michael Dillon, I'm on old school CV. What's an old school CV? Cottrell must go too. Yeah, well, Cottrell, it was amazing that he got there. To be honest, being with his views, it's quite a surprise for a lot of us. It's just, I butcher names, Stuart. I'll just call you Stuart. I think it's Scowlar. If the calling of the clergy leads to a split from the organisation who have departed from the word, could the funding pots be transferred to a governing body that meets the word, e.g. GAFCON? Unfortunately, no. And this is what is not known truly in the Church of England. It's never been tested, and it would cost a fortune. So when you become incumbent, like a vicar or a rector, and I'm a rector, you own, there's different things that happen in the service, which we probably call a licensed service, and a collation and these things. You become the owner of the church and the graveyard and the rectory or vicarage and any other property you own. But really the diocese kind of owns it, or the Church of England, or who owns the properties truly. And that's not being tested. And so the money given to the church by the parishioners is, because we're charity, see, and it comes under charity commission and charity law. So you could donate it out to another charity, and that would have to be voted by the PCC. That might be seen as underhand and quite untoward. So it gets, I suppose my answer is, it gets really messy, and it wouldn't be that simple. I think if someone left to start a new church, they would start by the grace of God and trusting. People might go and start giving, but I think the thing would be to leave everything as it is. I think that would be the right thing in one way or another. It might not be the right thing. Depends who comes after you and their theology, because yeah, it's a difficult one. It's a real difficult one. And you don't want it to be tested in court, really, because that's just a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I think it'd be far better to walk away. But I think what might happen is, if it becomes clear where the Church of England really is heading, and there is, for those people, no way back, then I think it's just easier to leave and discern. And people might be discerning now. They might be discerning now. Oh, by the way, for those who watch regularly, I haven't put on the monetization on this video. I said no, I'm not going to. But I think that's the right thing to do as well for me. It does earn me a bit of money, but I think it's too annoying for you. So hopefully, just tell me if ads are coming up, because it says on here that I turned it off. Look at this. It's getting hot in here. Or is it me just speaking too much? Mr. B, another local Anglican church appears Orthodox, but there's rainbow flags in it. Red alert. And this is the thing. I've heard liberals keep telling me, in the nicest way, because, it's not like I don't like them as people. I like them as people, just don't agree with their theology. We're Orthodox. It's like, we believe the Bible, we just interpret it in different ways. Like, you can't be Orthodox if you interpret in a different way that's contrary to God. But no, that's your interpretation. And you see, so you can get churches saying we are Orthodox, because I think in their way, they believe that they're Orthodox. They just believe that we just have two different interpretations of a passage. And so they're saying we're Orthodox. It's all about words and names and claiming. It is quite interesting the way it goes. So, Rich, the doctrine of the Church of England won't change because it's set into the canons, BCP and ordinal. So the law of the land says that marriage is between one man and one woman for life. That helps all Orthodox Christians. It does. But, it is about numbers. At the end of the day, and this is what's scary, it is, and you're absolutely right. But if the General Synod, so we know the House of Bishops got the numbers, if they really wanted to change it. If they got the numbers in the clergy, House of Clergy and the House of Laity, you need 3/4 in each house. Now, I don't believe that will happen now, because people will stand and stop that. But to change the doctrine, it's just literally getting more liberals in than there are Orthodox. It's crazy, isn't it? It will never happen now, so we are safe. But this comes back to the start. So if the doctrine of the Church of England doesn't change, and as you say, it's in the canons, it's in the BCP, Book of Common Prayer, and ordinal, and then you've got an archbishop who's saying no, any sex outside marriage, whether heterosexual or gay, so it's not just gay sex, it's heterosexual sex as well, is okay. How does that marry up? It just doesn't. And it's confusing to people, and that's why so many people are saying that he must go, because you cannot be going against the doctrine, not just of the church, because we're a denomination, we're a denomination, but across the doctrine of the Bible, the teachings of God. That's what he's really going against, and that's why GAFCON called for him to repent, both personally and publicly. And like I say in that statement, they did not hold back at all. At all. You can imagine when they was in the meeting, writing, I wonder if that was a kind of a pulled back letter as well. I wonder if they said, well, let's not. I wonder if they pulled it back a bit. I don't know. You would have to be there. So, TP, I'm going to have a whiskey and some chocolate now. There you go. Like a John, I ate like a horse, but I'm still a size 0. Oh. Lucky you. Uncle John, a local church in my home Vatican II parish in Ireland's closing down. Why is that? Why is that? Numbers. John Blake, actually, doesn't all church ground belong ultimately to the crown? King is head of the church. Did you see that Ashenden said the king must go? No, I didn't say that. I know, I didn't see that. Oh dear. TP, monetize me, Daddy. 8 to the bar. Yeah, well, pay for a super chat. Mr. B, we're all sinners, so why do some sinners, even nominal Christian ones, proclaim the sin as the identity? I wouldn't want to flag for my sins. And you know what's really interesting about that? So when I was at theological college, there was this guy who was same-sex attracted, and I didn't know at all. And then we found out because he put on a talk at theological college. And so I got to know him. He's a really lovely guy. And we got ordained at the same time when we get an ordained deacon. And the night before our ordination, I sat in a room with him and I talked to him about this, about his same-sex attraction and ordination. And he said, tomorrow, he told me a story that he was with someone, but he went back and he read the Bible and he saw he couldn't, and he gave up that life. And he was happy. But he was a Christian, and that was called to serve God as well. And so he said, tomorrow when I get ordained, I'm really saying, no, that's it. That's the point where it really is, my life is for Christ. I'm going to serve him as a priest or deacon. And I was like, wow. But he said, the trouble with the church, and this is I'll always remember, is that you make my thing, my sexual attraction, the number one thing. And this is back in 2015. It's the number one thing. Yet your sin, what you guys do, you keep quiet about. You wouldn't stand up in the front of the church and talk about your sin. And I was like, no. And he said, this is the problem. He said, because you lot are not talking about whatever it might be that you have a problem with, yet you talk about what I have, and you're putting me up at the front of the church, as it were, and you lot are hiding behind. And it's like, yeah, you're right. And so we're making this thing into a massive thing, and it gives people an easy out and an easy way to hide their thing as well. And so it causes a problem in the church. It causes a massive problem in the church because there's too many people hiding their sin because they're not saying, well, it's not. I'm not there. I'm not doing that. And it's like, you're right. Everyone sins. What's your sin? What are you hiding? What wouldn't you stand up? It's funny when we do baptisms and I do a baptism talk. I always do that. That DVD thing where this is a DVD of your life. It's got your name on, and this is a DVD of Jesus' life. It's got his name on. And should I take, let's say I've got a video of you, and I always pick someone from the congregation and say, should we put it on? What would happen? And they're like, no, I'd just tell you to stop it straight away. And I was, exactly. Even people who come to church who aren't Christian, when I say that, they were like, I would run. I would rugby tackle you. You would not be playing that at all. And then I did obviously the swapping of the DVD, but that's there because they know that they've done bad stuff and they don't want people to see. But we can hide behind our stuff at the moment, and we don't talk about it, which makes the church in a way a weaker place. Because what connects with people to say that I am a sinner, but I have been forgiven by God, and through the Holy Spirit, even God might have taken that desire away, whatever it might be, or we're working through it. I'm not as bad now as I once was. So you're right. It's a huge problem in the church. Well, word. I think giving up teaching on male leadership in 1994 has had some role in where we are now. I think now. I think giving up on the teaching that men and women are distinct and we have different roles and we're not the same is a huge problem as well. And I think in society and in the church, I think it's good to have those separate roles. I think it's absolutely fine to speak about those things. I think it's actually quite healthy. And again, when you look at a father and a mother, they have absolutely different roles. And when they try to do the same roles, it's not actually great for their children. Tina Noyce, Tina Noyce, you missed my message. Did I miss a message? Tina, did I miss your message? Is that for me? I'm trying to look on my long... Did you write a message? Tina, if you write a message for me, write it again at the bottom. Can you copy and paste? Michael John, numbers, fall in mass attendance. Urgh. It's a shame, isn't it? That's the biggest thing we got. Hey, good news. Good news. We had another young person turn up in our church today. First time in church for a while. Said they were going to church somewhere else, stopped going to church, turned up in our church today. Just sat there. I was like, young person, great. God is just sending people, huh? Amazing. We're growing. By the grace of God, we are growing. Mr. B, sin flag, interesting idea. Richard, I don't understand why PLF, that's Prayers of Love and Faith, have got this far when they are so clearly illegal. Could there be a legal challenge from somewhere? If not, why not? Because the way they've been put through General Synod, by not voting on them by the Be True route, which they should, and B2 basically gives authorization by each of the houses of General Synod, as I talked about before, by 3/4 of it voting through. But they've been commended by the bishops, which meant that the General Synod voted that they wanted to go ahead with this, and the bishop said, we'll commend them for use. It's a backdoor way, and a lot of people are saying it's a backdoor way, and they're saying, look, we're going to do this for 3 years. Is it a 3-year trial? I think it's a 3-year trial, and then we'll see at the end. So yeah, I said this in other videos. If they wanted to get it through properly, they would go through the B2 process absolutely from the start. You can't go through a trial. And I remember even being fair here. Even though I don't agree with it, let's be fair. Say they did a 3-year trial and all these same-sex couples came for their blessing into church. And then after 3 years, it got voted down, kicked out the Church of England. Pastorally, for those people, that would be really difficult. That would be really just, a slap in the face for them. And I think that it's unfair to do that. Like just start the process properly, and it won't get through. That's the thing. It won't get through. Would there be a legal challenge? There could be from the Alliance, but I just don't think there will be. Because it hasn't happened. But nothing really has happened. There could be next year when the standalone services come. There could be a legal challenge. I think I remember reading something about it. I don't think there will be, from what I remember. There might be. We will see next year. So much comes about this that it kind of... I have to remember. So, where are we? What word was it? What word of true freedom and trust? I don't know what that is. I'm not sure if you're asking me that. Sorry. Mr. B. Ashington's point about King Charles was that an old letter emerged when he bemoaned political correctness in the church, and that he should resign as head of the church as a result in protest. Well, I get that. I saw that. I thought it was quite funny, actually. I thought, he's moaning about, was it 1989? Did he write that? Like in late 80s or late 90s? Might be 1998. Might be 1998. But the thing hasn't changed, though. What he's shown by that letter coming to light is the church is still trying to be politically correct on many issues, and it's been that way for a long time. And that's where we go back to that question about leaving. Is God sorting out the Church of England? Is he using this painful process to sort out the Church of England? Because never before have we known so many Orthodox coming out and standing on the Word of God. Okay, so for example, this channel is a creation of the living and loving faith process. I'm known because of the living and loving faith process. I'm speaking out because of the living and loving faith process. My videos get thousands of views, and I'm blessed to be able to speak orthodoxy on many different issues. So since I started to do Rev Dan's Roundup, I get to bring to light not just about the living and loving faith stuff, but I get to bring to light the assisted suicide bill and speak about that. I get to bring light the buffer zone around the abortion centres, where silent praying could get you arrested, carrying a Bible could get you arrested. I get to speak about these paedophiles and thieves in churches that need to be caught and got out and prosecuted and sentenced to a long time in jail because of the LLF process, right? So I'm a creation, or this ministry is a creation of that. So is God? That's the question we have to ask. And I said this right at the beginning. If you go back to videos, so when was it? February last year, the vote went through. And then in March or April, I released a video and was like, why is nobody saying, what's God doing here? What is God doing here? Feels like he's shaking the tree. He's sorting things out because the Church of England is dying as a denomination from that data of attendance, and the fall of attendance is going to be extinct by 2060. Is he reviving the church? There's more churches that you know now who are Orthodox than we ever knew before. I wouldn't have said I knew in the churches around me where they stood theologically. Some I would work out. Some, yeah, you can work that out. But now we know. Now someone could write to me and say, look, Dan, I want to move my church. I can't stay in this church. And I can go onto a forum online and find a church within an hour in their area, and that's been done, and I've done it. And they've gone, and they can go to a different church. That wouldn't happen before. So I think God is doing something, and there is a thing. So I got locked out my email account for so long, months, and I finally got back in. So complicated to get back in, but I got back in, and I found someone wrote to me telling me why I should leave. And yes, do I get a flack for staying in? Yeah. Will people say that I'm a sellout for staying in? Yeah. But I'm seeing what God's doing, and I'm not second guessing what he's doing. And until the point where I know that I might be wrong, then we'll see. We'll see. So, going back to the comment. So I think like what that letter showed was that the Church of England, even back then, the Prince of Wales was bemoaning the church of being too politically correct. And we're not here to be politically correct. And has it changed? Anglicanism, yes, Anglicanism isn't a denomination. It's a communion with the one holy apostolic Catholic Church. Yeah, you could say that. It's a different form of how we worship God in different ways, but we are one holy Catholic Apostolic Church. That's what we say in the Creed. Mr. B, one should not flaunt one's sins lest we cause scandal. Yeah, that is true. But there's a way. The thing about talking to them, talking and engaging people who are in that same situation, and might think, oh, there's hope, and this Christian's talked about this, and look, they've been saved, and is there hope for me? TP, ever noticed that Rev Dan is an anagram for Red Van? Coincidence. That's good. I told you the story about the Baptist minister came up to me and said, when I go into school and I say, when I first went into school, I said, oh, I'm Rev Dan. They heard it Red Dan. As in he said, I didn't know you were a communist. I was like, so I always go in now and say, I'm Rev Dan. So, Henry. Where are we? The Church of Fear losing people has led to lack of honest dialogue about topics, which is a position really difficult to move out of once in. So those people who do talk now appear radical. Yep, that's true. But interestingly, the people that do talk as well, those churches, the churches tend to grow as well. Interestingly now, I think again, what God's doing when you speak about what Christianity is, that people are who are searching are going to those churches because they know that they're going to hear the truth rather than this kind of fluffy, I don't want to offend you. No, offend me because I want to know. I don't want this thing and then I start coming and I start reading the Bible for myself and going, you never told me this. I did that. This is exactly the life I led. I didn't come to faith through the church. I came to faith through other means, mainly through myself and reading. But I grew up with the church, went to Church of England school, and then I started to read the Bible and go, why have I not heard half of this? And my first reaction to Christianity is, I don't want to be a Christian because this life is hard. I got to change so many things about myself. I didn't think it was like that. And I think we got to be truthful about the goodness of God and what he's calling us in a holy life. And that, yes, we lose things that we perceive that we love, but actually by losing them, there's something far greater. And those conversations, they might be, difficult ones for people to hear. But that's what we're called to do, to proclaim the gospel afresh to a new generation. And proclaiming the gospel is something that the early church were martyred and beaten and lost everything for. And we don't do that. Mr. B, are you suggesting he's Postman Pat in disguise? You never know. You don't know what I do in the daytime. You do not know. Just between us on the live stream. A. Austin, I wish that Christianity stood up for authentic Christianity. Let's see what God's doing. Let's see what God's doing. We have to see what God's doing. Henry, so Orthodox position was silent when not taboo. Now it's taboo. It's hard to stop being silent. Yep, and I think that's what I was saying. I think the church has lost that public square, that centre place for being a voice that is calling out from the wilderness, that kind of John the Baptist. He's in the wilderness. People went out to hear him. They walked out to listen to what this guy was saying. And we didn't need to be changing the message. John's message was a hard message. But people went out and were intrigued by what he said, and they were converted and they were baptized. And that's where we're called. And I came to the church, and I didn't see that. I saw the church, they're trying to do all these different ways to engage people and things. And there are different ways to engage people. But I think the greatest gift that we have been given that costs nothing. So I said this a few weeks ago with the Church of Wales spending, is it 10 million? Or is it, I think it's initially 10 million, but it's 100 million in total to do evangelism. And I'm like, but the gospel is free. The gospel is free, and you've got all the people in your church, those Bible-believing churches and those Bible-believing people who can do this for free. And it's about discipleship, equipping them and sending them out. Really doesn't cost much. And yet, we've got to do this program, we've got to do that. And I'm like, start straight away with discipleship and the gospel. Just do. So you're right. When we're silent when things aren't taboo, when we're taboo now. But again, I think God might be using the situation. And if we get back, right, to that orthodoxy being heard as an alternative point of view in the world, and people listening and going, yeah or no, yep, no. At least we're there. At least we're there. Crying out from the wilderness. People will come. Not many. Remember, the gate is narrow. But as Austin said, that Christianity stood up for authentic Christianity. Hallelujah for the young person in church today. Yep, praise God. Harry, our church the last 6 to 7 months has had 321 with no Christian background come after feeling compelled to buy a Bible and wanted to go explore. It's been wild. God is still moving. He is moving with these young people. It is amazing. It is what God is doing. Let's not doubt. Let's just trust. Trust and obey, for there's no other way. That's a song that always keeps coming. Trust and obey. The hymn, should I say. Postman Pat and his obstinate cat. Let me see. Richard. All churches should adopt the Wesleyan system of bands of 3 to 4, where each person takes it in turn to confess their sins to one another. Everything said in band stays in band. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Where's the accountability in church? Where's the accountability? That's why I was saying the platform's giving me the ability to pull these people who have been touching young children, stealing money or whatever, and they've been in senior positions in the church. They've been in positions where they've taken advantage of people, and accountability hasn't been in the church, and they've been able to get away with stuff and do stuff which will damage other people. So maybe that's a good idea. Richard, manipulating the process doesn't make PLF legal, it just compounds the illegal nature of them. Yeah, I think we'll see next year. We'll see what happens. You know, it's going to cost money. It's going to be in the press. It's going to be... I think the one worry, yes, it could be illegal in the way it could do, but how it comes across, and there's been a preparedness, because you've got to go and speak about the good news of that as well, and why we're doing this and standing on orthodoxy, and why it's good. And we all know it's going to be a media storm, so that it has to be very well handled by those people who are doing that. So, why would you buy the Bible when you can get one free on the internet? I buy too many Bibles. Well, I don't get the impression that King Charles is a believer. I'd pray for him. We all need to pray. Well, we do actually. When we do the BCP communion, we pray for him all the time. Yvonne, no, you can't have a leadership that doesn't believe in the doctrine. Days of the false prophets are upon us. Mark, God, also God is challenging those who are yet to commit to him. Absolutely. In a sense, that's why we're seeing these young people coming to church, and praise God for that, because we'll be in trouble. He created a movement. He's compelled young people to come to church. If they didn't, we'd be in trouble, right? Because we weren't getting out there. Some churches were, but I mean, like the whole church, not. Oh, I've lost you guys. Like, I'm so chatty. Let me see. Oh my Lord. Right, I am Philip, brother, is my church Orthodox? The only way to find out is to visit. Yeah, and that's a problem though, isn't it? How can you find out visiting all these churches? It'd be good that if churches just put that out there. Henry, phones are now an extension of the stuff of young people. A Bible on the phone is just as previous as Bible and paper to us. We shouldn't minimise that which connects young people to God and his word. Yeah, but paper's always better. I might just be showing my age. Raymond, I've left the CV now and attend a free evangelical church. So like I said, people, the laity will leave. The laity will leave. TP is not a denomination, it's a state of mind. Yeah. There's lots of theological differences. Sorry, I was trying to think there. Philip, brother. 2, the Welby question. If sheep follow their shepherd, how can I follow the covenant C of E that neither subscribes to Scripture or its own 39 articles. You're right. I wouldn't say now. A lot of people, clergy in the Church of England would say that they would follow Welby, even though he is the Archbishop. But to be honest, let's be honest about this. The 39 articles, for a long time, a lot of people has not adhered to the 39 articles. You take the Anglo-Catholics in the Church of England will say they don't follow all 39 articles. And we've had this problem. We've had this problem for a long, long time with that. Martyrdom Ministry, so glad I'm under Bishop Philip in the Blackburn Diocese. Yes. Yeah, he's good. Rev Dan Woolward, what do I think of Paula White? I have not much idea who she is. I see her name pop up, but I really don't know. Is that a bad thing? She's American, isn't she? Isn't she something to do with when Trump was in the White House? Hasn't she got a ministry or something? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'd have to look. Is she good? Is she sound? Because I really have no idea. That's bad. Maybe is it bad? Is it good that? Is it better still not just to know? Is it better that I just leave it and just don't go down that route? Don't pick that scab, as it were. Philip, brother, I know not the size of your congregation or their wealth. The church is the people, so ask them if they would tithe, even a small percentage, then being informed, pray and seek God's will. Yeah, you know, the funny thing around where I live, sorry, my lighting is so expensive. So expensive. If I wanted to get a house that had bedrooms for my family and a studio to record it, like an office, you're looking whatever, $1 million, 1.5 maybe. It's just a ridiculously expensive area. That's a big trust in God. If anyone's got millions and you want to buy me a house, let's chat. So, Mr. B, who's planning an Advent fast? Who is planning an Advent fast? Baz, God works in mysterious ways, and sometimes we need to get out of his way and let it play out. Yeah, let's see. E. Austin, Christianity gave me a moral foundation. I would never have been a Christian if it were not for morning prayers at primary school. I wondered what our Father meant. God works in amazing, mysterious ways, doesn't he? Barbara, believers have become very apathetic. We've been lazy, absolutely. And I'll do a quick fire now to get down to the bottom. Philip, faux pas. Did you really say Tolkien or PLF? Do these ideas marry up? Faux pas. Did you say talk about two ideas? Did I say do these doctrines don't marry up? These doctrines don't. They can't, having two different doctrines in the Church of England. I've said a lot, so I'm not quite sure. Take me, if you know me, I'm Orthodox, so hopefully it isn't a faux pas if you look at the bigger thing. King Brendan, Justin Welby needs to repent. E. Austin, Mr. TP, we all need to repent, we do, daily. Trying to catch up. Oh God, I'm trying. King Brendan, God, I pray everyone here you will show them the one Holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, and I pray that you show them that it's truly started by Jesus Christ. I ask this through prayers of Mary. Amen. I ask them for the prayers of Jesus. But I appreciate my Catholic brethren, brothers and sisters on here online. So just trying to catch up, guys. Henry, so true, we have lost our authority in the public square in the West, and now we need to win souls by being missionaries as exiles in foreign culture, like we see in 1 Peter. Yeah. And maybe again, that's what God placed in us, what we're doing. We'll do church differently this time, and not the way it was before. We can't, can we? Because it didn't work before. The church was in decline. All the major denominations, old denominations, not Elim, not New Frontiers, this is in England, they're dying, but different ways. The newer denominations are growing. So whatever comes out has to be different to what it is now. Or what we do has to be different. Which is like preach the gospel. Get back to basics. Mark is, in such time people look for uncertainty. This is the offer. Make it and they will come. I'm just trying to, I'm just going to go back to this camp. Yes. You know, with, especially over here in the UK, with that budget that just came, and not getting political, because my life is hard enough with just the church stuff without getting political on either side. But business owners, workers, and all this, and everything that I've been reading, it's going to be quite devastating. And it's one of those times where Christianity will give hope, and they'll say, but what is the hope? But I'm not going to have a job. I'm not going. And you know, this is where we all have our stories, isn't it? We all have our stories of Jesus coming through to help us in these times when we speak to him. And I think this is where we really need to be there, where the world starts breaking down, people's lives start falling apart, and they're looking for hope. And this is where it's our great interaction with society, is bringing the hope of Jesus Christ into a broken world. And we have to be there. That's the thing. We have to be there. And my worry, and I was thinking about this the other day, is that with all the stuff with LLF and Justin Welby saying that, it detracts from what we're called to do. A year ago, I was in Kenya, and I spoke to the bishop there. We sat down, we was having dinner, I got invited over by a bishop, and I said, you know, everything that I do on my channel, I speak about the news, and I try to bring a different point of view out, but it doesn't save people. It doesn't save their souls. It doesn't bring more people to Christ. It'll inform people, it will help people, it will guide people, but I don't think it saves people. So ultimately, what I do, you know what I mean? Ultimately, it's about saving people for God. That's it. That's what is the most important thing. So that's what we got to get back to. And when the world is in times like this, with the wars and the economies, and over in the States there's elections and the budget in the UK, and people are worried, that's where our greatest message of hope comes. Because, as I always say to people, and a lot of people have been going through this now with their worry, it's the 2 o'clock in the morning. It's the 2 o'clock in the morning when everyone else is asleep, they're with their own thoughts, and they're scared, and they get inside their own head, and they get worried and worried and worried. And that's what I went through after my dad died when I was young, into dark, dark places, horrible places that I would never want to go back and put myself through mental torture. But now I never go there, because if I do have worries and I do wake up, I speak to Jesus and I say, take these away. Lord. You are my loving Heavenly Father. Help me to sleep. And you know what? Majority of the time, not all the time, but majority of the time, goes back to sleep. When people are living that, when people are going, I get you. Yes, the 2 o'clock in the morning. Every time I say 2 o'clock in the morning to people and worry, they get it. And every time I follow up with, this is what my remedy is, it challenges them. I'm not saying that it does it, but I say, speak to God. Ask him. Ask him to help you, to take away those thoughts, not go there, and then for you to sleep. And then when you do, then you know God is there. You know, let's push it back to God. So, let's catch up. So John now is at Elim Church after being in C of E. Guys, okay then. Hypothetical. If I left the Church of England, which denomination should I go to? Write in the chat. I should have done a poll. Where would you want me to go? Where would you want Rev Dan to go next? That would be fun. John Smith, conservative evangelical capitalising on a storm in a teacup. Could be as well. But I think actually this is big. This is big because many more things. It's not just prayers of blessing. It's same-sex marriage, and that's what wants to come through, same-sex marriage. That's what they're pushing for. This is a stepping stone. We have to be careful what it's dressed up as. Andy Bridge, I'm not sure Jesus would recognise a church he started with assets in the billions. 10 billion, and local churches as well. Local churches are suffering as well. Well, we'll join the LDS church. God, there's. You see, we're talking about this, and people are joining the Latter-day Saints, and people are going off to, who's the other ones that go knocking on your door? Watchtower, Jehovah's Witnesses and stuff like that. People are. We're taking our eye off the ball here. That's the problem. This is a worry. I do worry about this stuff and think about this stuff. King Brendan, join my movement. Scotland shall be saved, as I try to bring Catholicism back on its feet to Scotland. You know, it's all there. I really got to catch up here. Right. Right, I'm gonna John Blake, I'm quite behind the video. The chat's clear ahead of me, John. I'm in the same situation. Wait, so let's go. Harry Goodwin. I'm an Elim minister. We have lots of COV and Methodists come to us because the Liberal changes. Yeah, it's been sad to see the pain they have as they leave the church which they have left. And you're right. It is painful, and we shouldn't say that we, belong to that church, but it's not the church, it's the community, isn't it? It's the community that people are leaving, and it's so hard to walk away from brothers and sisters that you love. You genuinely love them, even if you disagree theologically. They become your friends, and it's difficult. But it's also quite difficult when you're Orthodox and you just can't stay in the Church of England because of the liberalisation of the Church of England, and not just on same-sex blessings, but on many things. Okay, let's do fast. What do you call it? Quick fire. John, I put 39 articles into my Sunday school membership. That's good. Margaret Bean, any thoughts about leaving for the ordinariate in the Roman Catholic Church? I'm an evangelical. It would be so far removed, and it wouldn't be right. I wouldn't go to a denomination that wouldn't fit. It wouldn't be that fair for them as well. I wouldn't jump ship just because it's convenient. I think it would be not fair for me. I got friends who are more Anglo-Catholic who I've asked, why don't you go to the ordinary at? But it's something that I couldn't do. Richard, Dan, I would definitely encourage you to try again to get Ian Paul on your channel. He would answer all the points on here. Yes. Yeah. Maybe next year. Ian, or as we get to maybe book him in before February. Luke Appleton is the other one. Luke Appleton, he's got a following over on Twitter. Philip, brother, the Aaronic, can't say words. You know me, can't say words. It's a word I can't say. It's blessing you. It's blessing to you. Eilston, it breaks my heart to see old churches sold off. Yep, for sure. Logos, sadly the Church of England is weak in the post-industrial heartlands of the country. The answer lies in the thriving churches, the big cities, grafting into those areas where they're weak. Yeah, and I have no problem with Orthodox denominations going into places where the Church of England is lost or is weak or, liberal, whatever it is. It's not about denomination, it's about souls. At the end of the day, it's souls. Souls saved. That's what it is all about. Must be a beautiful liturgy and music is great for evangelism, and that's why we're seeing young people coming to the traditional services. TP, good night, go to bed. Good night. Mark, 2 a.m. I get it. Wow. You guys, well done. Catholic, Elim. Come to Elim, my friend. Philip Gafcon, related church. I'll probably sit in by the phone right now. Coming to the Roman Catholics, Gafcon. Brendan Love, Red Dan, I'll be praying for you. Appreciate your message. I hope, perhaps like John, you and others are voices in the wilderness who will reach people because of where you are placed now. Thank you. Annie, the Lord surely is inviting his true church, the remnant, to step forward. God is not interested in denominations. No denomination has it right. Let's invite the Holy Spirit to speak it to our spirits. Absolutely. Mr. B, home to Rome. You can learn Latin. Yes. Someone taught me how to say, on my videos I always say diocesan, which is completely wrong. It's diocesan. 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 Oh, I never learned. I've got to go back. But I really appreciate the person who wrote to me and even sent me a voice mail to say how I say it. And I butcher words. Butcher. Roman Catholic, to be precise. We haven't done Latin tonight. No. Right, let's get back here. I said I got an announcement. So we're coming in at past for those who are still staying. Usually do about an hour and a half. So we get down here. Put the word on 1.5 to catch up. Yeah. Baz, how would we know where churches outside the CV stand on issues such as homosexuality? If it's Baptist, you have to check. If it's Methodist, definitely check. If it's Roman Catholic, I think the Roman Catholics are pretty okay, as I believe. Some Roman Catholics on my on this chat will be on time. I think the Roman Catholics are pretty sound. If it's URC, definitely check. If it's like Elim, New Frontiers, pop my pen lid off. Elim, New Frontiers, those type of new ones, they're Orthodox. You wouldn't need to check. But if they're some of the old pre-1900, Church of England, Church of Scotland, those, if you're in Scotland, you would have to check literally the individual churches, for sure. For sure. John Blake, honestly, I've been drinking vid and argued, now vid or argues. No idea. Do you watch Mari on YouTube? No, it's another one that I'll write down. Mari. I have no idea what that is. Mari and Paula White will be on my viewing channel. Henry Goodwin, it feels like the wild. If you're feeling wild, the Russian Orthodox are always looking. Yes. I think that would be the most. Could you imagine? my video, leaving the Church of England to join the Russian Orthodox. That would be crazy. Amanda Scott, when will you be leaving Rev Dan? Leaving the Church of England? When my red line is crossed? Or when God calls me out? When God makes it clear? I can't give a better answer. And I am a parish priest here, and so I've always said, and I said in the video I did last year about leaving the Church of England, I have a job to do here now, and I'm honouring that calling, even in this craziness that's going on in the Church of England. I am called to serve here. I will serve here until the day God calls me out of here. Unless a red line is crossed and it's not tenable to stay in the Church of England. But I do hope, and it's not an excuse, and I hope it doesn't come across as an excuse, because I'm not an excuse. I try to speak the truth, and I try to be genuine. And I don't want to just say words, but I do believe that God might be doing something. I really genuinely do, and it's not an excuse just to stay in the Church of England because I'm comfortable. And people have said that. Like, if I wanted a comfortable life in the Church of England, I'll be in bed now with my head down, and I would not speak out on anything. I wouldn't be making videos. I find it quite funny that people say, oh, you just want a comfortable life, you want it easy. You think my life has been comfortable? You think my family's life has been comfortable? It's not at all. And I'm not saying the Church of England are bullies or anything like here, but there are things that go on. And it's not so comfortable. And remember, we don't speak about this. We're battling the devil here. We're battling the devil. And this is hugely important, that we are battling the devil. And it's a spiritual battle. This is a massive spiritual battle, and we really have to understand what's going on. And when you speak out, and when you stand up on the orthodoxy and the truth of the gospel, the devil will come after you and make your life hell, and make it difficult. And it's a battle all the time, a spiritual battle. I think sometimes the spiritual battle is far harder than the physical battle, the earthly, human battle, because you give that over to God, and the spiritual battle, yes, you give over to God, but it's wearing. It's, if you're dealing with people, you're not seeing them all the time. At least that you can get out of your head. I'm not going to see that person. I know that, I'm on holiday, they're on holiday, whatever. But the spiritual follows you around, and it wants to wear you out. It wants to shut you up. The devil is just, and his minions. And we have to be aware of that massively. And people everyone who stands on the gospel, everyone who speaks out, they need to be surrounded by prayer and protected, I tell you, because it's hard. It's hard. It wears you down. There we go. Another one. Logos, the Archbishop of Sydney, needs to be the next Archbishop of Canterbury. It'd be good, wouldn't it? Philip says, FCC churches in England. Patristic, yeah, let's see where God takes me. I'm writing something else down now. Patristic nectar is great on YouTube. I'll write that after. Right, well, let's come into land. Mr. Marsh says, I wonder if there's an option to look at the flying bishops. So the Bishop of Oswestry has his position. I wonder if there are churches that would possibly go down the route of being more orthodox. Yeah, we have to look at so many different options. I don't think they'll give them that option. I don't think they'll give them. The Bishop of Oswestry has his own. Excuse me, his own. I think I'm getting tired. I can't think anymore. Anyway, he's a flying bishop, and so you could go under him, but I don't think they would give that. I just don't think they would give that. I'm going to finish. There are a few more chats, but we need to finish because I wanted to say one thing, and this is a question for you to answer down below. So I was thinking, and I think this is important, and again, I don't want it to come across as up my own bum and that I'm really arrogant, and it's not. I was thinking, I keep, when I do these live streams, there's so many people I chat to, and so many people I just don't know, and I was thinking, how can you get people together? And then I was thinking, in fact, this is what happened, right? So I woke up the other day, and it was in my head straight away to do a day here where I am, to invite a free day. Just tell me if this could fly, this could work, if people would be interested. So I pick a day next year. We got a little church parish room. I booked that out. We booked the church. So you come down for the day. We'll do a communion in the morning. I'll do a communion. Like I said, communion, because I think that's important. And then we go to the parish room called the reading room. You see around the church as well. We'll see around the church because it's a beautiful church. Old, it's got some great stuff in there. We could even go to what's his name? Oh, it's just so close to my house, and I should remember. He wrote Paradise Lost. Who wrote Paradise Lost? I should know. Such a Thomas. No. Milton. Thank you. I can always just chat. Milton. God, I can't remember. Get shot for that. That would be worse than all my orthodoxy. We got a museum down there. Maybe we could go in there as a little private tour, and then maybe just do a talk and a question and answer session as well, if that would be of interest. Like 10 till 4 or 10 till 3. Would that be of interest? Do you think, or to you? But do you think if I put that and put 30 tickets for free to come down, do you think people would? Not for my own ego or anything like that, but just to create a community and get people to meet each other through this ministry, but also that I can meet them as well as me. Do you think that could work? Because the other one thing I was thinking is maybe January next year, because and then maybe doing one in July if it worked, or something like June, July, and then later to kind of do it. It came off what do you call it? An idea I was speaking earlier this year to somebody else about doing something and going around England to do different things. So I'm in a place. So the lunch would be so the lunch might be, so there's two things. So I was thinking about this, you're right, Harry. So I was thinking it could be you bring your own lunch, just because the cost. And then my wife would be going, no, I'll put on a spread. I was just thinking, how do you create community? Then we can do a little talk or a question and answer session, but a question and answer session that is not recorded on YouTube, and so which would be more open to those questions that you can answer truthfully, perhaps. But so I live in a place called Chalfont St Giles. You can Google that. It's a beautiful, quintessentially English place. And then we could, Philip, is there a pub? If you buy a pint in Chalfont St Giles, you might be shocked. I think it's a bit pricey. Then we can, have a look around the church, and just hang out. And you see what Chalfont St Giles like, because the other thing is I'm a parish priest, and you know me from my ministry in one way, but I was thinking it'd be quite cool. But it's the fact that I woke up with it in my head. I was like, is this me? Because I literally just woke up, but it was in my head. I was like, was I dreaming this? But it sounds like a good idea. So I went to my son and I said to him, do you think this would be a good idea? Or do you think it would come across a bit arrogant? And he said, no, I think a lot of people would want to do it. A lot of people would want to do it. And I said, yeah, because I want to create this community. I want to get people physically together. That would be quite cool. So, let me look into that. It sounds... What about a test Zoom first? So, where I am is a place called Chalfont St Giles. That's where I am. I say Google it. It's a really small little village. It really is a small little village, but it's beautiful. It's got a green, it's got a pond, it's got the shops, it's got the church. It is so quintessentially English. It is lovely. The nearest tube is like 10 minutes away. The tube comes up to Little Chalfont, the Chalfont and Latimer. You've got a train station there, you can drive. We've got a massive driveway. And I was thinking like 30 people. 30 people. Is it remote? No. I think we can get people here. I think we can get people here. Could you make the talk hybrid? You could do a live stream, but a talk could do? Yeah, could do. Could do. Oh, guess what have I just done with the live stream? What have you done? Please don't stream it. Need to hire a bus. I think like most people. I think like if you're, I know it's a bit limiting, and maybe like try something down here, and then if not, I got no problem going up north. Oh, there you go. If you wanted ever to come north to God's country, I'm sure we could host you. See, yeah, like to go round. This is about like creating community. It's about what is this ministry? What is this? Music might party a dance. Okay, so we do that. Choose if you've been enjoying this live stream, first one I've been able to watch. Great, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you guys. It's good to do this. Dudley, Dudley's not north. Dudley's Midlands. Yeah. Bring a bottle party. Music, but I've just got about even song. Well, I'll say it's like an hour ago. Yeah, let's okay, let's maybe we do a south. Okay, Harry, contact me on my Milton. Choosy View is lagging behind on the stream, but appreciate you watching. I'm just typing in my email address. RevDan at BTR Ministries. Harry, tell me where you are in Yorkshire, and we'll see if we got people around there. Email me, and we'll get places. Yeah, maybe do a RevDan ratio. Maybe we should do that. I'm not that. Only 10, 20. I don't want to make myself that big. The Lost Lands of the Southeast would be grateful. Yeah. Wait for it. Okay. It sounds something. It sounds something. Maybe we try to find places that are crossing and create little hubs. Go to one hub, and then go down. That's what I was talking about with someone earlier this year, about going to these little hubs. So better in the summer, because I'll go on my motorbike anyway, but my motorbike is a bit cold. It's freezing now. I'll get there, but it'd be quite cool. It'd be quite cool, wouldn't it? Should we do that? Right, let me think. A pool party. Okay, I need to, because the trouble is now, it's great on a 3rd of November at 9:30 or 9:44 speaking about this, but now how do I make this a reality? Because I've just gone from Chalfont St Giles in a short conversation to these places around. So the trouble is with the places around, it's working together to get, again, doesn't need to be big, 10, 20, 30 people to make sure that we come, to make sure it's worth it, that people can have a good time. And how does it do that? I go on a world tour. That'd be amazing. I got to think of a name now. Rev Dan's Roadshow. Rev Dan's Roadshow. Remember, was it the Radio 1 Roadshow? Did they do a Radio 1 Roadshow? Well, I got myself into. I know. Okay, let's maybe let's just start off with one, maybe in January, February, and then we'll see how that goes. It could be a complete flop. It could be just like, we could be just going, yeah, this would be great, and then it's like, oh god, this guy's awful. No, let's not do that again. So, right, let's do something. I don't know how it'll work. Maybe we could try Chalfont St Giles first. Get some people down. I'm going to have to limit the tickets because we haven't got room. See how it goes. And then maybe start going on a tour. What about short walk of the Chilterns? A pub and prayer and meet or church? Yeah, there's if we get it right here, then I promise to go north. We could do that, right? Yeah, I pray that you wear bright luminous clothing and a bright coloured helmet when you ride my bike. I wear a white helmet, or I got another helmet, a red helmet, and not so luminous. My bike is white though. My bike is white. Good idea. Tour bus could work. Yeah. I guess Chalfont is only 90 minutes drive. Yeah, it's not far. It's not far. I mean, just like, not even me, just for a day trip. Chalfont St Giles is really beautiful. And then Beaconsfield's really, just down the road, is really beautiful. Old Amersham, very beautiful. This area is very beautiful. It is really beautiful. It really works. It really is lovely. It really is lovely. Yeah. Okay, what I'm going to do, and I know I'm not going to please everyone, I'm going to pick a date in January, because January tends to be a bit quieter. And then I will put it on the live stream next month in December. Because you guys will be the first to hear about it. Is that fair? Rather than everybody else. Oh. Yeah. Okay, let me think about this. I might have to pop on a slight live stream. Okay, what I'll do, I'll think about this, and then I might pop on a live stream in a couple of weeks' time to update you. Not a long one. By the way, people, and this is self-indulgent, so please bear with me. My birthday next Sunday. I won't ask how old you think I am. Because that could get messy. That could get messy. Okay, I'm going to think how I do this. Are you all on my Substack? Which I've really got to get on and do more things. Are you on my Substack? Maybe I do it there. If you're on my Substack, Let's get my Substack, because that's the bit that I'm trying to. Maybe I do an announcement through Substack. So that means you have to join my Substack. Yay! Join my Substack. Oh, happy birthday. Put it on the table on Thursday. Happy birthday. Won't forget North of England. Let's try, let's make something. I'll make something. I'll put it out on my Substack. First come, first served. Who can make it? Please, if you get a ticket, it'll be free. And you can't make it, give it up, and then we'll put it back out for someone who can make it. We know plans change. And Mr. B said a rosary in Chalfont St Giles. If you want to do that. Okay, people, it's been fun actually. I loved the night. It's really been good. Thank you for joining me. Have a good night. We've gone 20 minutes over, but that's 20 minutes talking about Rev Dan's roadshow. So that's good. Good night, you good people. Need to go. Oh, Miles. Hi, Dan. Would appreciate your prayers as I study at Wycliffe Hall. I study at Wycliffe Hall. I'll pray for you. What year are you in, Miles, before we drop off? Year 1 or 2? 1 or 3? 2 or 3? Does Dan have my email now? Join my Substack, and then I'll put something out on Substack. First year. First of 3. Be praying for you. Be praying. I go off to Oxford every so often. I should pop into Wycliffe. I should. But I'll be in Oxford in a few weeks' time, actually, at St Andrews at the ODEF meeting. So if you go to that, I'll see you there. If not, okay, you good people. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you guys, because I know that you are choosing to come on and watch me, and I appreciate that very much. And we will see you. Well, I will see you. I will see you. Or we'll see each other one day. But have a great night, and stay Orthodox. That's the thing to be. Go preach that gospel.